Okay. We should have solo service. This here should be Nishmas Benzi's name. Benzi Bryce. Zero service. Now, this week, somebody showed me in the shul something which explained the snare. This week we had the story of the snare. Moshe Rabeinu going to the snare, didn't understand what it is, so he went to check, and Hashem told him, "Don't go." And so they explained in the name of the Imri Yosef from Spinker that the idea Moshe Rabeinu saw something interesting and he wanted to be choker, to investigate and analyze it and understand what it is. Is it physical? Is it not physical? And so Hashem told him, no, don't. Emunah Pshuta is not to investigate, but to believe that I am the God and the God of your fathers, your Avraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, and to stop investigating. So in other words, the Emunah Pshuta above the Chakira. And that is something which I think is one of the schools. And the problem that how I see it is that if you push too much into that way of thinking, then we'll speak about it, you become a bit of a childish religion. And I mean childish, meaning that it's a religion that is easy to understand to a 6-year-old as to a 55-year-old. And that's a bit where we tended to go a little bit in general, because theoretically, in my theory, and you can disagree with that, but my theory is that when a Rov gives a drosha in shul, he knows that there is a 12-year-old there, and there is a 70-year-old, and there's all kind of different intellectual capacity people. And so what he has to speak is, he has to speak normally, you speak to the lowest level denominator, or try a little bit to the average. But most of the time he wants to reach as big as possible his audience, and that brings down the level. And at a certain time, after a few generations of this happening, this average level becomes the norm, and your religion becomes a bit of a childish. You understand what I'm saying? Becomes a childish religion. It's a theory that I have, but it will help me in the next. But so.
Just to precise,
Yeah.
I don't know. We're saying that you should not ask Elvin to investigate.
Yeah.
But it's about that Hashem exists, or about the Jewish religion.
To philosophy.
But isn't this a difference between mitzvah and chok? Chok is without reason.
That's
it. And
no. Chok, it's not. The Rambam is very clear about it. Chok, you cannot say it without reason, because you have a person saying, you at the end of time, they say, how smart it is. But if you say there is no reason, then there is no smartness.
So maybe there's a reason, but we don't know. We're not allowed. We shouldn't. But a mitzvah, we.
Yeah, but the Netziv, we'll come to that. The Netziv will say that the chok is the rules of the game. It's how you have to analyze the text.
Mm-hmm.
This is a chok, and that's also not fixed, because normally chok means fixed, and even that is not fixed. So we'll come to that.
I think by making philosophy of every mitzvah, it's a very thin line between this and reform.
Yeah.
But then you can say, but now it's not applicable.
Not applicable anymore, and therefore we're going to change. The danger in thinking, to let people think, is, of course, that you open a box of Pandora and you don't know where you're going to end up thinking. That's a problem. So the idea, do we push people to think, or do we say, no, better stay as a monopshuta? The statistics, according to some, but I don't know if it's not a scientific analysis, but is that people who have a monopshuta, they survive longer. So
most people are not very intellectual.
And most people are not, So it's also another problem.
Unfortunately, some religious leaders, they hope that the large public won't think too much, so that they can
remain on power.
Play their power game.
That's also true. In general, we're not speaking about the Rabbonim in particular. In general, in the whole life is like that.
That's the reason also that some people are leaving Judaism.
You
cannot force somebody not to think.
No, exactly. And since we are not adapted, I think that that's why I call it sometimes that we are becoming a childish religion, simply because statistically, as you know, even the Rabbonim, they remember hearing the other Rabbonim speaking that level, and so therefore they started to believe that this is how it's supposed to be. but it's only an average on the level. It's a theory, and I'll leave it to you to prove me wrong or continue on that path. In any case, maybe let's start with straight away with mainly interesting. The other bit of the outside of the box thinking is this book of finite and infinite games that you sent it to me. I didn't send it out because I was waiting people to ask, because I don't like sending out things to people if they're not interested, and then it just remains on their inbox. But this book has a very interesting perception of, for me personally, and what touched me, and I'm sure that he saw different things in the book. Everybody reads the book, takes out the things that is interesting for him. For me, I see the following: is when you are young, the only thing that interests you is to win. A child wants to win. That's where we are. That's what motivates us to go to school, because I want to be the best in the class. I want to have the best points, so I want to be better than before.
My wife will disagree with you.
Yeah.
You talk about the girls, not the boys.
Okay, yeah, there is not anymore. Not anymore. But in general, the idea is that we play a game is to win. So also play football is to be the winner, and you choose the winning team, and the rules are clear. And then when you won, you feel good because you receive a title, which is the title is very important, is to be the winner. Okay, so it's really the idea of I am better than others and I am the winner, or if I lost this, at least I acknowledge that he's better than me. It's painful, but there is kind of a rule that acknowledges the winner. And that's when you are young. When you get older, you start to see that that's not all of it. Life is a little bit more, and you start becoming a little bit more spiritual, and the infinity of the things become important, and you realize that life on itself is, you try to make it as an infinite game, where you want everybody to participate, even your enemy. If you see your enemy going to die on the street, you're running to him to save him, because okay, he's an enemy, you don't like him, you would like him to lose, but not to die necessarily. So we are kind of in a spirit of, somehow we do have inherently an understanding that life is all of us to play that game. And I would like to win you, but not to kill you. You see what I'm saying? Unless it's really a pathological game. But in normal sense, the idea is that we are starting to realize that the game is becoming an infinite game. And I will explain now what is the definition of finite and infinite games. Finite games have a clear start and a clear end. They are always, the idea is to win, so that the other ones has to lose. So there must be losers and winners, and the winners receive what we call a title. He's the winner, so everybody applauds, and he's the winner. He's the richest person in life. Can be, I want to become the richest person in our group, or I want to become a title, become a rabbi, a well-respected rabbi, the director of a school, of a community. You become a hero, very important for some people. That's the finite games. And then you have the infinite games, is that the purpose of the game is that it should never end.
Just for finite, just maybe to add.
Yeah.
So yeah, there is also clear rules, a defined number of players.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
a limited number of players.
And fixed rule.
And fixed rule, yeah. The rules cannot change during the game.
Like in class, you have 12 people, you need the grades at the point, and everybody agrees on it.
Yeah, that's very important, because I will develop that further as well. So the rules are very fixed. During the game, you cannot change the rules, otherwise there's no point. And you don't change the rules. However, when you are in an infinite game, then the participants have to grow, and if there are more people during the game, just join us, the more the better. And the rules will change if the game, if you all see that the game is becoming either irrelevant, but most of the time when you see that people are cannot play the game anymore. So the people cannot play the game anymore. So you change kind of the rules. The rules have to be changed in order for as many participants that want to play that game, they should be able to join the game. It's not the idea is not, before I let you, it's not the winning that is important, but it is the participating. I don't know if you remember when we were a child, I always say l'important c'est pas de gagner, mais c'est de participer. Huh? We always used to laugh of it. What, sorry?
Yeah, they used to say deelnemen is belangrijk.
We don't hear this anymore. I don't know. I don't hear it. But I used to hear this a lot, and I always used to laugh at myself. It was like stupid, for the loser. It was, but it's really an infinite game. It's participating is more important than winning. And the example that he brings down is the difference between a debate and a language. So a debate is a game where there are always 2 or 3 people or 5, a panel, and the fixed rules. Everybody receives the same kind of time. You're not allowed to curse, not allowed. Are rules that are make sure that you keep to that rules, and there's a winner. Again, the idea is that there should be a winner. By a language, the language on itself is also a game that never ending. So the idea is to keep the language fresh and relevant as long as possible, to have a lot of participants. The Académie Française is trying to keep the French in such a way that there should be as many participants as possible. And if necessary, then we change the rules. We add new words or change the grammar or the spelling rules, etc. In French, there's less changes. In Flemish, there's
No, it changes a lot.
It changes a lot?
Every year you have
every year? Okay, yeah. But new words.
No. Even the actual one I refresh, for instance, now for because it was in debate, still in debate about homosexuality, how you should define it.
Yeah.
Just to tell you, because it's because of time and they fight if we should say that. So everything can change, even definition. Okay.
Now, so what the critique that he has, and also this year we kind of point that out, is that religion has been seen as a finite game. So,
infinite game. Infinite game. Sorry.
Yeah.
Maybe you say it, or maybe I didn't hear it, because that's the key important. The purpose of the infinite game is to continue playing.
Yeah.
So everything
never ending, to continue playing.
Yeah. The idea is not to participate only. The idea is to continue playing. So when you come to a point, or you have a winner that might come, then that's not good. If you see someone that will win, you will change the rules, so there is no winner.
There's no winner.
No, it's true for losing, but it's true for winning.
Yeah.
If you come to a point that there is a winner, then it's not anymore in game in terms of finance.
The whole game is never to end. The whole game is that it should never end. And in other words, what he doesn't mention it, but this is the word relevance. It's like what Moshe always says, you have to remain relevant. A religion, so you have 2 ways of seeing a religion. Either you see a religion as a finite game, and then you focus on Mashiach, and you focus on Olam Haba, on Gan Eden, you focus on life, and the death is the finite, is the end. And then you win is that you receive the title of a tzaddik. In a religion, is a tzaddik that is the title that you would like to receive, a kodesh, a tzaddik. Or you see a religion as an infinite game, and that means that there is we are all participating in a bigger project, which is the Tikkun Olam, which you mentioned. And the idea is that we are all participating, and everybody participates, and there's no winner, because there's no, somebody did a little bit more than others, maybe. But even if you see that somebody is really being able to put the right thing, but 2 people help him in holding up, that's also everybody participates. You understand? There is no one more participating than others, but sometimes it's you can participate by helping others, and that's when you look at religion as an infinite game. It does not mean that in an infinite game you cannot have finite games. So within an infinite game you can have finite games, but within a finite game, I don't think that it's possible to have an infinite game. You understand? It's not possible. I don't know if he speaks about that, but in a finite game, to have an infinite game.
That's not possible.
That's not possible. Yeah.
Just one point. Sorry, I mean,
that
will be the last one. It's critical, in my opinion. Is for a player, no one can play the game if he's forced to play the game.
Yeah.
So basically, if you are in a religion game, if you think you're forced to be Jewish, you're not part of this game because you cannot be forced to do something. You can only be Jewish if you want.
Both in the finite games and infinite games.
But
that's a general
in a way.
Yeah.
Now, even in finite, we can discuss because you
whatever. But it's involved. Normally, you always participate because you want to participate. The idea is the infinite. So the Ramchal starts off, and that's the ikar of the Torah is a schar oynish. Schar oynish is a finite game. Yeah, if you say the Torah, the Rabeinu Shalom wants the Judaism is about schar and oynish. Rabeinu created the world in order for you to receive a schar or an oynish, chas v'sholom. That means that there is a finite game. There are rules, and these are the rules, and this is how you can achieve it and not achieve it. So that's a finite game. So it's finished. Once it's finished, it's finished. But then he also adds, and he says, yeah, but there is a second part, which is the element that at the end of the time, Hashem would be Yochid, the Yichud of Hashem. That's what he adds. So he suddenly comes and he says, yeah, because if that's only the reason, so why Hashem the Melech, who cares what's going to be by Yom HaHu? Who cares what's going to be by Yom HaHu? If the game is always a finite, he puts down so many billions of neshamas, test them. Those who succeed go to the left, those who fail go to the right. And that's it. And this process continues endlessly. And I mean, it's also no, but there is also there will be Hashem Echad U'Shma Echad, there will be Beis Hamikdash. You know, what is there is more than just the me participating. In other words, there is what we call an infinite element to this game. And so therefore the finite game is a part of an infinite game, which I explained the last week. You can say it even in the following, that Kol Yisrael yesh lohem chelek, Kol Yisrael yesh lohem chelek, le olam habo, le with the lamed, and not be olam habo. What does it mean, le olam habo? That we are all participating in towards the olam habo. It's not part of the olam habo like a finite, but it is le olam habo. We're all participating in the building of the olam habo. That's what Chaim Volozhin says it actually. So we are all participating in this building up of an olam habo, and that's the whole idea of the infinite game, that it should remain infinite, as Yeshayahu Leibovich says. It's always next, and it's never going to come to the end because we always have an horizon to look for. And so you can also look life. Generally, you can look life either as a finite game. Many people look at life as a finite game, especially when you're young, is to win, to achieve, and then you realize that either you cannot win that game, because at the end of the day, you can try to live longer, but you know at the end, it will not succeed. And therefore, when you're on your deathbed, you are a loser. You are basically seeing yourself as a loser. If you live your life to live the longest as possible, right? So you are living the life as a finite game, then passing away is a loser. You lost. But if you see your life as an infinite game, and you just pass on, you participate as much as you can with your generation, and you pass on the ball to the next generation, then the game is infinite, and you live after death as well, because the game continues, and you participated in that game. And so it's a way of seeing. It's an attitude that you can see your life and in a much better perspective, and therefore you don't have to try to do everything and live and live as if you were immortal. The mortality is not a problem anymore because it's part of the game, part of the boundaries of the game, that you cannot, that's how it is, and I have to make as much as I can during life in order to give it over to the next generation, and then you retract yourself, and I mean you have.
I don't know if it's a big deal because I apparently by going not control the made most people were dying, not going, regret at the end of the life. I regret not having what to do. Don't see the
I don't know. Hope not.
I don't think so.
I mean, all of them can get their years of the Melech, but the great at the end of of life.
Yeah.
So they do regret. And then they lose the mitzvah. The man that died when he was born.
Yes.
So they,
No,
I think there was more than one. And they, at the end of their life, they regret that, but they didn't leave a certain expert because they give it.
So basically, it's not so simple, but it's two ways of seeing an attitude to seeing life. It is seen as a finite, and then you fight it, and then you have to be a winner. And when you're not a winner, you're a loser. Or you look at it as infinite, where you just participate, and you make sure that everybody participates as well, and you continue playing as you said, and just continue playing as long as possible, right? So that you can continue playing. Right? Ah, ouais. Ouais. Je sais tout ça. Ouais. Voilà. Ouais. Comme ça, si on fait tout l'amour dans un couple. Ouais. Et quand on va finir le couple, on va avancer le couple. Ouais. Il y a l'amour, il y a un amour dans le couple, pas la tête. Ouais. Faut pas marier, la tête. Je comprends. Je comprends, mais de toute façon, on va y arriver, on va y arriver. Tiens, en fait, let me continue, and then we'll discuss further. I found it last week. I was having coffee with a CFO of JBC, the fashion retailers, you know. I think the juice bowl. I think. What? No. And I said to him, it's actually, I realized while I was drinking coffee that it's really applicable to his, because the family, the class family, the father was called to the, and he actually started the business, and family business, so everybody of the family is in the. You have two kinds of companies. You have a company where the shareholders are financial, the people put in money. What they want is, after years, principle of investment, get out of it, and whatever happens, they don't care. Right? It goes bankrupt afterwards. We went out just before they became bankrupt, but they don't care. But then you have a family business whose dream is that, okay, I'm not going to, I can be still relevant, this company, for enough 100 years that my Einiger should be still in the company, there would be a great achievement. But the whole philosophy of the company is infinite, that remains not long-term and short-term, because long-term is 5 years, 10 years, but there's an end by the long term. A family business, when it is an infinite company, the whole idea is to keep it to remain relevant. Therefore, the whole architecture of the business is differently built, and that's what I'm hoping to have a meeting with them and hope maybe I can have a project with them. But the idea is to try to understand that it's a completely different architecture of the business. HR is different, finance is different, innovation and IT is different, and the sales is different, the product design is different. If you want to remain relevant, then if you want to make a multiple of your initial investment and for the company, it's a completely different approach. And that's where an example. I think even at the Tour de France, it's a finite game within an infinite game. The finite game is during the not the etapa, the Tour, but the Tour de France itself, they try to remain relevant. Okay, so the guys, they never thought like, we're going to do it another 10 years and then we're going to sell it. No, the idea is that Tour de France has to remain forever and ever, another 500 years. There should still be the Tour de France. So that's where the idea, it's never going to be sold and then, you know, whatever happens, it's something that has to remain. And that's a finite game within the finite game. Yeah, but then also the idea they will not agree if it's going to change it, if it's going to stop it and do it a car game. It's the idea that it has to remain forever playing. Otherwise, the whole idea. Don't forget that also the title that you have to Tour de France. If the Tour de France stops, it has no value anymore. Yeah. So it's. He also speaks about marriage. Marriage as well. Either marriage is for youngsters is kind of winning. It's a winning game. I want to win the most beautiful girl in town, and you know, if I can convince her, then everybody, every friend of all my friends will hear me out with the title. I want the most beautiful, the most interesting, the most best chick in town. Or is it a marriage? So that's a finite game because it finishes with the fact that you've got her, or I'm going to go. I'm not going to go as we are in the shul here, but you know what I'm saying. We can go on about the pleasures of the marriage and why you would do it, why you would get married. Or is it something where it's infinite thing, where you're trying both of you to help each other to remain in the game as long as possible? If one falls, then you know, if he falls, then the husband picks up and they continue game with the other one, and he calls it touching. Touching, I guess, means the touching the heart. It's the intimacy which brings you, makes you stronger. It's about the growing path together, and that's a different kind of a marriage. That's the intimate marriage. Okay. There's also, he speaks a lot about state. State is finite because the idea of the state is not that it's going to stop, but the idea of the state is that you want to be a winner and a loser. So you want to be the strongest economy in Europe, and if you are behind and you want to overachieve, politics is finite. It's a finite game as well. Both winning and losing, the rules are very, very strict. And if you win, the other one loses. And the idea is to receive that title of being the best. And the other opposite of state is people. So it become a people. There's also religion. And there, I think, I'm not sure, but I think that he counters religion with culture. Because culture on itself is an infinite game. Culture is an infinite game. The Germans, they try to make culture finite. There's only one kind of beautiful paintings, it's only realistic paintings, and that's why only the German in highest level. But in reality, culture is the most open, and there is no winning, and as many people participate as possible in winning.
Better, more, more
that's why I'm saying. So in my sphere, I always challenge that point of view. That, and now I realize so that the whole idea is what you just said is extremely important. Religion today is seen as we are the winners and they are the losers. So it is we are going to have Olam Haba, they will not have Olam Haba. No, but what I'm saying today, yeah, no, but you're right. Even more maybe like that before, but this element of we are being part of bigger picture, and we have to be the oil goyim, so we are serving the Kohanim for the goyim. That's a completely different point of view. You understand? If we are the oil goyim and we serve the goyim, then it's a completely different point of view where we try to bring humanity to a high level. And that's an infinite game. Because we are not better. We have a role to play. You understand what I'm saying? It's not that we're going to win and they will lose. No, we are here in order for them to succeed. You understand? They have to succeed. What?
So
we can always improve, and we have to grow together.
And we have to take this we don't take the goal when it's time. But,
yeah. So
But the gun don't think they do.
No, but
Very well learned.
Because we don't, we, like I said, when we were a child, we learned that things we have to win. When you're a child, we're telling you, you are better than the goyim, and you're going to win, and they will lose. But otherwise, why play that game? Why should you play the game of religion if, it's more difficult and there's no end, and it go on like that, and I don't know, and so you have to win. We are competitive as a child. We are quite competitive, and the idea is that we have to move away from that point of view. Now, it's true, and that's why I wanted to come to one of the things I'm going to come straight away, because I got an answer to your question here, but the halachas, clearly rules are rules, and we have learned that halachas are fixed. Yeah, we always learn halachas are fixed, and I told you once that the brother of the Maharal and even the Maharal, they know the halachas must be diverse. Every generation has to think and has to decide themselves how the halachas will be. It's not a fixed system. Today, the halacha is a very, very fixed rule. The religion has become extremely finite because the rules are so strict that they're not allowed to change. We're not going to change any rules. That's the purpose. But in reality, the idea is that no, the rules are changing. Behind the, what do you call it, under the table, the rules are changing, and slowly there's a movement, because religion is not a fixed finite game, but it is an infinite game. And the minhag, which the brother of the Marabi said, the minhag is above the halacha. It says when the Ramon wrote the Sefer, I think it was. I remember what? No, not right. I don't remember anymore. He wrote a paper on halacha. Came out. He was printed. He was extremely upset, and he said, if he wants to do it as an halacha sefer, I don't mind. But if you bring it to the level of the minhag, I will reject it. So he sees the halacha as a lower level and the minhag as a high level. Why? This case I can understand. But halacha is part of the finite game. In the finite game, halacha, you need an halacha, I don't mind. But in the infinite game, as a minhag, that has to be cultural defined. Every generation needs to be able to create their own minhagim and to develop them, and every city and every family should have their own minhagim, because that's what culture, that's what makes the game to remain infinite. Oh, so the critique. Exactly. That was the whole. You have to understand that I gave a shir about that the whole shkono was not accepted because it will become a case where you say today, so that's what they were afraid. Because yes, theoretically, why not? The Shulchan Aruch was written for the Beis and his Bezdin, and he should pass them like that. But in example, we are different Rabboni, different generation. We should pass them differently. But the moment that you print Shulchan Aruch, it became like the Gemara had become something that cannot change anymore. About that?
For me, that's exactly what they did, but
no, I didn't. Yeah, he speaks about it there, but I didn't understand it properly.
For me, that's Luca versus the Minhag. Taking as an example for finite again, a flop.
The problem is always why the Catholic institution that they even can't understand anymore when the body is Friday in the winter to people. You cannot ask the rabbi, and we already are further. We already don't follow. No, what I say, I understand that this is too rigid, but I also understand what should start changing. Then
so
there is no.
So you need even in infinite game, you need to have finite rules in the finite part of the game. Need some kind of rule. Otherwise, sometimes you need to have rules within the infinite game.
It can be very fun, but the story we forgot that for everyone select when you have an actor playing on a plot, you will have you have an audience. Basically, the audience can be like crying because you play, the one dying. So you will give this emotion further, or you will react. But you, as the actor, you are in touch. You are not. It's not you. So after an hour, even if everybody is crying, you go back to your wherever. You are not touched with it. It's from the pay. But people will see and you interact. That's the in the finite gap. On the other end, and that's what you think with the actors. You expect as an actor to cry on scene. Really, not because of the. Then you lose. You are losing because you are not on the pay. You're not in the finite game anymore. If you are really touched with infinite, and if you touch like this, you're not anymore in infinite. You become the finite, and you are not anymore yourself. You're not playing a plot. You are actually acting as yourself, and that's losing. In a way, for the halacha, it's the same way. You have the halacha, the minhag as a see, it's yourself, it's your infinite, who you really are. Now, the halacha is the math, is what you will show to the Jewish people. Oh, the math that they should see from the Rabbanim, from the stuff. The math you can always. It's not really the Yiddishkeit. Yiddishkeit is not a religion. It's the minhag. What you have to do is, Hashem is like this, it's not happy. Is this really the Jewish religion? No, that's the math, that's the play we do to make for the child to feel like he has this feeling of greatness.
You say, the Rabbonim or the parents that you're all hypocrites.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
that's not hypocrite.
Yeah, there is a special.
This is like.
No. There is a special number. You have a special number. And when you became a father, you play a role of a father. You play a role. Not you playing, but you play a role because I have a daughter. So I'm playing out the role of a father. Fine. You know what? I want to be. But other things to do. I would like to do other things, but I play now a role of a father. Then you play a role of a husband. And then you play a role of, and we're playing roles. All our lives we are playing roles. We have finite games. But it's not who you are. And what he says is the minhagim is who I am, and the halacha is who I play.
No, I understand that. I will give you an example which when I was a kid, when there was a father who was schmoozing the whole time, and when his son was schmoozing, he got hit. I said, this is what I mean with hypocrisy. If you're not the way how you want to raise your child, no, if you make from these two different things, that's not stupid. They know. It's like I had once a small child, and he comes and says, "I'm stupid." That's good. We're not allowed to watch television.
So it must be it's not problem.
So there is a problem.
His father, for instance, that is slapping his kid, or what is losing his finite game. The rule is you should make your son to feel like unsure. For instance, you should not speak and you should feel ashamed and stuff. His kid, but he makes this kid doesn't care about the shoot, so he lost his game. He lost his game. So
And he lost the child.
The game was
you can lose all your games. If you say the entire game, you can lose or win.
No, but I think that what you said is the fact and thing that is connect somewhere. So, like when you said the rabbi will tell you in the shul A, and then he goes in the restaurant.
The moment you feel that he plays a role, which he does, then it brings him down. It brings it down. The idea is that he should be really who he is. That's the problem.
Not necessarily, but the thing is, and that's what you're saying, if you are going to a theater and you see that the actor is playing, you can see it as an audience that he's playing. You're not in the game anymore, you're not watching anything anymore. A good actor, you don't think he's playing. He knows that he's playing, he's not part of it. Even today, for instance, my father could tell me stuff when I was out at America. I know he's not following what he told me, etc. But today I know you guys he's not that father. He wants me to feel some stuff and to think about some stuff. What part of that only what to tell me love. So you see what I mean? The idea is it's not a contradiction. You need those math. If you go to your kid like really you are him, you want to take a beer, it's not gonna work.
I like the Because halacha is that we have to play, we are Jews, and so we have also a role to play, like I'm father, I have a role to play, I cannot get out of it. So I have to role. I don't like it, but I have to do it. And therefore, it's also, religion is also kind of the halacha is the role to play. The minhag is really who I am, that defines me as an Antwerpian Jew, and in Antwerp, where the minhag like that makes me who I am, and not necessarily what role I want to play. That's the minhag is really the cultural identity of who we are. It's an interesting concept because
could that be the reason why a lot of people can't see that say that they struggle with the concept Yom Tov, because back then we didn't know when it is. Today we know when it is.
Yeah.
So why keep it?
I have to think about that. I'll write it down. If the Yom Tov, how, and you think that some people struggle with that?
No, because you feel that you do something which has
Does
no
not have
value.
no value.
You know it's not Yom Tov.
Yeah, we are doing
Today, you know it's not Yom
It's halacha.
Tov. No. Why is that? Something what cardiac means. Which was done because there was a suffolk and
it started off as a minhag that became an halacha. Because the halacha is the minhag I was saying of your day.
Yeah.
That's the halacha. The halacha says minhag I was saying of your day.
Comes from a minhag, yeah.
It's like
It will be like who you were. Now we have to show the Yiddish place that will keep you this feeling of not being at your place when you are in Kuklad. So the way it is, the place you will see from the Yiddish, you have to make today. It doesn't make you have to make today, so you will feel not like at your place in Kuklad.
No, when you go there just for Yom Tov, you have to keep up.
Because you're not from Israel,
you are still a golus eater. There's another very good example, I think, is there is something else. There are two toilets. There's a Torah Shebechtav and Torah Shebal. So for me, the Torah Shebechtav is a fine. Has a start and has an end, and you cannot change any letter. While my Torah Shebal is the idea of Torah Shebal is that we should ask questions if we're going to it continuously remain relevant. The Briski way to learn the Gemara became very popular, although it was a new way, but it became very popular because thanks to that, it revived the idea of Torah Shebal. And so Torah Shebal is an infinite game within, and within it there is a small box which is a Torah Shebal. The Torah Shebal is fixed, clear rules, but the Torah Shebal is infinite. Even the rules, it says, Yud Gimel Midrash Torah Nidreshet, which are the chukim. The text says every generation, or every generation, you're allowed to change it. These are chukim that you're allowed to change. So that's why Hillel had only 7. Then in the time of Rabbi Shmuel, there were 13. And then maybe theoretically we don't do it anymore because once the Torah has been printed, has been written, we can't change anymore. But theoretically we could change the rule. The klal upatu klal is not enough part, but klal upatu klal is masher with klal, regarding masher with klal. So we could change the rules if we believe that this is relevant to keep our religion relevant. But these are the idea of the mistake, because if the rules have changed in an infinite game, that has to be changed. Why? In order to remain relevant. If it's not relevant, then the game stops, and we change the rules in order to keep on the game playing. So that's the other example. And I can explain you also the finite view of religion is the star or oinet. Infinite is the tikkun olam, which is Yichud Hashem. And therefore the idea that this is the infinite path, but we are very much focused on as an individual, of course, on the finite. There is more which I can explain you. There is the sukkah, which is the Birat Arai, and the Bais, which is the Beis Olomim, Beis Hamikdash, I remember, versus the Mishkan, versus the Sukkah Sholem, the David. These are all ideas that we develop. And what I also can develop, and I'm not going to do it today, is the first perek of Parshas Bereshit, verse Shomro. There also you can find the game either as a finite game versus an infinite. And there also you can develop the concept further. I'm not going to do it today, but there is a lot that you can do it. It doesn't change halakhically, and it's just a framework. It's just a way of thinking that helps in understanding elements in your life and in religion and in culture. And for me, it's a way that I can explain things and motivate people maybe more if myself. It's not about knowledge, it's about learning. Finite games are very serious. Infinite games are very playful. Okay, somebody who plays the game of Tikkun Olam is more playful than somebody who plays it as a finite, where you lose and the idea is to win, but there is a very seriousness. And when you are more in an infinite game, you are more playful, because the idea is that you are just participating, and we know that at some point, for me, it's going to come to an end, but the game will keep on continue playing, and I will do everything so that the game continues playing even after I won't be there. That's the purpose of the finite. And any feedback on the contrary? Now, maybe you want to come back to what you said in the beginning. Right. Right. Ouais.
L'humanité, non, même la cause, idéal, qui est dans lui, qui pense à réaliser. Non, pas.
Okay.
Ces gens-là, leur vie, on s'en est, alors pas avec ces intellectuels, mais ils disent, écoute, je ne ressens pas. Moi, même le narc, je ne ressens rien. Voilà. Et je dois m'expliquer, faire un nouveau développement. Je décris le double. Le caractère de l'autre. Les rêves sont tellement. Je pense. En tout cas, c'est très ancien. La raison d'être.
C'est ce qu'on a, je pense. I always said that. No, I think that the Moshe is what we call optimism. In other words, we see now very dark. Don't worry, there is a day will come, and so therefore it gives us the hope. And it's like you said, it's something which inherently human beings be optimistic. There is, of course, a negative thought that you always have, the worst case scenario, and these are the negative part of our brain that overcome. But generally, we are optimistic nature. Mashiach is optimism, and the end of the world. You understand? And we are. What you're saying is that we are generally optimistic, but what Satan has brought is that has brought optimism in a religious perspective, which is the Mashiach. End of the times when Mashiach will come and everything will be beautiful and the will be there and we'll be able to play our role. I agree with you, but I don't say that it will never come. I just said that it will always be tomorrow better than today. So this improvement with and that's what I explained last week. You can have a Mashiach ben Yom, which is the bringing, the starting of process. And like I said, we are just in the pre-phase. Mashiach Yosef comes now. Mashiach ben Yom will come. When we'll finish, when we'll be like in a way that the world will be on something, And you could see it in that way as well. You can say, we have two Mashiach, we are lucky, but we have two Mashiach. Therefore, you can give whatever you want according to how you feel it. You give it a different role to play.
I think it's very important for the hit a lot from they confuse as about this. They say it's not true, but they're saying yeah, Jews are a woman, mothers in the Jewish families are praying for the children to become. No one is doing this prayer. No one. Does not exist a single mother saying, please Hashem make my son the Moshe. No, but that's very important by the Goyim. It's not important. Which means this will go your way, which means we want a winner. And like you say with 1977 war. What you mean by Mashiach? It means the end goal, the winning, the end of the win. Which means you will ask Hashem to give us the Mashiach. Promise to come the Mashiach. What we want is Mashiach at the end, the work to be perfect. But when and how, the end point, the end goal of here will be the winner. We don't, by fact, we don't do Christians, as I said, with Christians, they're saying, yeah, Jews are always praying for mothers are always praying for the children to become the Messiah. No, they relate that to their imam on their side that the mother prayed for it. You know, we don't. We are not in this final game. We do. By fact, by fact. No, why? But by fact, we don't do it.
Okay. So think about that. It's
quand le nappe rire à la voix et à nous enfant pour le plus haut, pour le plus haut. C'est pas dans l'histoire de nappe.
C'est pas pour finir.
pas pour finir. C'est ce qui veut dire.
Le grand gagnant c'est le top du top et c'est terminé pour les. On est les grands gagnants. Non, jamais. Mais tu as raison. Le concept qu'on va donner, c'est vrai. Mais par contre, pas pour créer la fin, le grand gagnant. C'est étonnant. Ta femme ou la mienne, par exemple, on va jamais prier, a priori, pour que nos enfants soient le match des grands dans la Bible, oui, mais que ce soit le Bachir.
Non. Okay, think about it and let me know what you think, how you take it for yourself. It would be interesting to hear. I wanted just to, I'm not going to give you, it's already late. Moshe Rabeinu went through 3 transformation projects. He had the first transformation project, maybe next week I will, but no, next I want to. So it's about bring the particularity of the Jewish nation. So for the moment, Avraham was universal, this idea into the world. Moshe Rabbeinu had to bring us back to become Jewish. He's the one that made us Jewish and different from the nation. Avraham wants us to be like the nation, to teach the nation how to be like us. And Moshe Rabbeinu says, no, you have to go back to the soil and be unique and be different. So this is the future that we have. Personality by Avraham. That's why Avraham is an Av Hamoy Goyim. Avraham is the father of multiple nations because he's the one that has both nations. Moshe Rabbeinu is the other way. It's the Ben Amram. And the prayer says Amram comes Amram. The Reubene folk bring, we have to play the role of the Reubene people with our Kedusha. The Ram can also mean Troma. We are the Troma from the nation, the Halle and the Troma from the nation. So he's a Ben Amram. We are part of a proud nation. So we are different from the Goyim, and we have to remain different from the Goyim. This duality is continuously being between the Brit Ben Achzorim and the Brit Finite, and I'm not going to go into that idea. But Yosef Atzadik wanted to bring over this universality. He believed in the universality, and therefore all the Nissim is for the Mitzvah, not for you. So this is the idea of universality, to bring to the people knowledge of Hashem. And Moshe Rabbeinu's job is to actually bring back. While we went to Mitzrayim, Moshe Rabbeinu has to bring us back to particularity, to make us different from the nation. That's the first element of Moshe Rabbeinu. The second element is to become a Hebrew again from himself. And we already saw he was a Mitzri, and Vayafes a Mitzri. He saw that the Mitzrim are brutal and towards the Jews. So he said, I don't want to be a Mitzri, but he remained a Mitzri for a long, long time. And he even married a Midianist. He married outside of the Jewish community. And he thought, as the 92 wants to say, that he thought that he's going to create a nation. Because the Jews, they are ungrateful after what happened. And they told him, well, who are you? And so he thought, okay, Mitzrim are not, and the Jews are also not. So he decided he's going to become himself. He's going, maybe he's the next and he's going to create the next nation. And Hashem told him, it's not you, but you have to save the Jews, and it's going to be, you are part of the Jewish people. And by the way, it was before he came to Eretz Yisrael that Hashem said that before you come to Eretz Yisrael, you're going to make Brit Milah because of your son. So that's how you are part of the Jewish people. So
He wasn't
no, by son. He was born Mohul, by son not. And so the idea was that the way that I see it is that he kind of was waiting for Hashem to tell him what now. And Hashem said to him, "Oh, you have to go back. It's not what you." And actually, after the Egel, Hashem said to him, "Maybe okay, you're going to be. Remember in the Egel, Hashem said, you're going to. I will praise everybody, and you will continue." So that's what Manitou said. Why would Hashem say that to Moshe? Strange. Elomai, this was original plan of Moshe. And Hashem said no. And then Hashem said, you know what? Right, I'll do it. And Moshe said no. That's when that's a very interesting point of view on the view of Moshe Rabeinu. I also said, remember that what the more Cook Talmidim want to use that as saying that the Moshiach, the one that saved us, can come from outside of the community, that back into the community. Then the third part of Moshe Rabbeinu's very, very difficult transformation, and this is between a leader and a shepherd. Moshe Rabbeinu was trained to become a power, the son of a power. He went to university and teach strategy and military and things like that. He was trained from power. He became a shepherd, a royal son. And that's a very big transformation. And I saw Friday night, Chaim Mondler spoke by us. He said that 40 years or 60 years he was a royal son by year. He was the royal son. But the Zohar I saw by chance on Shabbos, the Zohar explains that it's a very important element of Rabbinu to learn how to look after what is a royal son. Somebody that goes, the son is the most fragile and neat human. You cannot by himself. When you give birth, you have to take the little child to clean it, to take him, look after him, and then bring him to the mother. It's a really very individual and has to look after. He also has to protect from wolves and lions and all kinds of animals. And therefore, this is a completely different perspective. So a leader, he has to have a vision. He has to know where we are going. And what I call a manager, he has to make it happen with existing resources. He can tell to the leader, if you want to go there, I know a good guy. This person will do this, and this person will. That's a manager. He knows the individual needs, and he knows how to motivate the people to do it. A leader does not. A leader is just somebody who has a vision, and he says where we're going, and he pulls everybody together to that vision. And so that the Royal Son is really the manager who is busy with each and every little sheep. And it takes a long time to go from that level to a lower level. And Moshe Rabeinu had to go through because he became a Royal Son, that was time set in school by us. Zohar also. Zohar that says it took him a while apparently to be able to also look after the individual. And this is this combination, this hybrid form that Moshe Rabbeinu had to adopt, which is on one hand a leader, on the other hand to be a royal toin, which is the opposite of a leader, because each individual has to be looked after, is what made him Hashem, a perfect leader. But we see that he suffered. Israel has to him. You can't do that. You can't look for everybody. You have to put to Reneo, you have to start making a system of to protect yourself. At some point, even that did not help, and he complained to Hashem. He said, I can't anymore. So Hashem said, you know what, take 70, and they will. So we see that this transition of being a leader versus a manager, and this hybrid person that is both leadership and management skills, even that is struggled, because it's, I think, physically impossible to be a leader of 2 million people and to be able to deal with everyone. That's something which is very interesting. I wanted to add one more thing. Sometimes I think your father, and everybody asks this question of animals, animals, how can it be animals? Animals look like not very barbaric. Just want to say the korbanos are only allowed to be from the Hamer. And I never realized that. I mean, I just realized this morning while I was writing, I realized that a behemoth cannot live without humans. The fire lives without humans. The behemoth, you leave him in the field, he dies. Or he doesn't die, but not many generations. It's not going to last very long. Yeah. The idea of a behemoth is really you need humans to look after, you need humans to help by the birth. A behemoth. No, all behemoths that are, I don't know if they are non-kosher behemoths, I don't remember anymore. But that's a dog. A dog is non-kosher behemoth.
You're reading thousands of dogs.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, no, but they have to live in cities. They have to live in cities. They have to live with humans. They are dependent on humans. They are part of the ecosystem. Where the humans leave the city, they cannot survive. But also, then I thought, but what about birds? Birds. But pigeons cannot live without humans. It's not possible. You will never find a pigeon in a jungle or in a. Pigeons are always in the cities. They have to be in where human beings are. I don't know.
Not for the goal, because that was domesticated, but
I don't know. But for the moment, I can see what they are, and I know that there are people who say that we are not fair to the pigeons because we domesticated them, and now they depend on us. Take them away. Yeah, it's not fair towards the pigeons. But it's a very interesting concept that the behemoths, the whole existence, are depending on us, and therefore we have some kind of a right over them. You understand? They exist only because of us. Therefore, we can bring them as a korban. It's not like we took somebody from, we took an animal, a fire from the field, that then we bring them as a korban. There is a little bit more of a dependency on humans, but we have a right over them as well, because they cannot live and procreate and grow and continue without the help of the human. That's why they call behemoth, not higher. So by domesticated wild animal. It's the beginning of an answer. If you like it, okay. If you don't like it, it's okay. I'm not suffering. I had a thought this morning about that. So, in short, you want to ask a question? In short, we saw the idea of the childish religion as a theory of do we accept religion as such, and we have to or should we be quaker and grow in understanding or not? Then there are two schools. Very interesting and nice stuff in that. Do we agree with the answer or not? Then we saw the element of the finite and the infinite game as life, as companies, but also as religion, and religion can be either the idea of the Moshiach that we spoke last week, but it can also refer to the Minhogim versus the Aloha versus the Torah Shebal Peh versus the the Charen Oynish versus the Yichud Hashem. So these are all finite, that is within an infinite game. infinite game, and it's all part of of a culture. That's why I want to explain Kol Yisrael from Chelik Lo Olam Habo, towards the Olam Habo, and not the Olam Habo, which would be grammatically more correct. And then at the end, I spoke about the three transformation projects of Moshe Rabeinu. He had to bring us back to the world and to create a popularity. Abraham created our university, and this was Israel, Av Hamon Goyim, and Moshe was a Ben Amram, a Ben, a son of Av, he is part of Amram. We have to be part of elevated nation, of all nations. So those two have to play together. That's the transition that we have to do. Then we saw the second one was the element of him becoming a Jew again. He was an Egyptian. Ochir, Ibn Ezra explained that Ochir, when it first speaks about Ochir, it means the mystery. And then he even left time altogether, and he tried to maybe eventually create a nation. And then Hashem said, "No, your place is by the Jews with the brothers, and you have to bring them out of the earth of and then we saw the third transformation, which is from a leader to a shepherd, and back to something hybrid. A leader is not somebody that is busy with what we say of the Shabbos. That I don't. You know what I'm saying? Hakadosh Baruch Hu, that also Hakadosh Baruch Hu has its leader, but also a manager. He's busy with the details of the people. This hybrid is the perfect. That's why David HaMelech clearly had leadership vision, but he was a royal son. That's why Hashem chose him, because he's somebody that can look out. He understands the needs of an individual, not just as 10,000 people will come to the west and 20,000 people that you can see. And not just people that see the people as a lion, a pion in their game. That's together. That I saw in the Zohar, by the way. It's very interesting. The Zohar elaborates a lot on why Moshe Rabeinu has to become 40 years old. In other words, so that he can compare over the people over individuals. It doesn't explain that Moshe Rabeinu wasn't like that before, but it's clear, according to me, that Moshe Rabeinu was a Ben Paroi, was probably a prince to become a leader and not become a manager. Then I also explained you a theory of me that Behema is the domesticated, means that they depend on the human, and so therefore we have kind of a right. If we sacrifice a Behema, it's like we sacrifice ourselves. But they are part of our family, they are part of our ecosystem. They cannot live without us, and we kind of cannot live without them, so they are part of the ecosystem, and that is to bring a Behema as a korban, to and bring a child as a korban, which is the Mazel Lamoila, which is the opposite of what Judaism. So it's better to bring it to korban. It is barbaric, yes, but less barbaric because they are dependent on us, right over the behavior. Should we hear only the stories, and we should not hear any more bad news, and we should be very practices the Gu'ula Shalemo, in Beiro, Yomeno, Omen.